What's going on, YouTube Familia? Coming at you early in the morning. We are about 45 minutes away from the employment changes coming out for the US dollar, coming out for the Canadian dollar, and everybody loved the imbalance video so much that I decided that, hey, we need an imbalance video 3.5. So welcome to the YouTube channel, guys. I appreciate you so much coming back to this channel to tune into this information. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and share this channel with somebody. We're almost right there at the 1,000 subs. You guys are absolutely loving it. I'm absolutely loving it. And I'm just super grateful that everybody's using this information to be able to get themselves to the next levels on the charts right now. So with that being entailed, imbalance 3.5, I want to touch on some S&P, how the imbalance has played out this week. Yes, it is hindsight. But the imbalances inside of price have been so key this week, and we're going to touch on some smaller time frames, right? So let's go ahead and dive into it. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we are going to get into some of the price action, right? So let me go ahead and get ourselves into replay mode, and we'll go back to the open of this week and move myself down here, right? So, we have already get this away. Right, so this is where the week opened. Right now, if we go back on a bigger time frame, right, we understand that we are overall bullish, right, because of trends and market structure. We are moving up into this daily imbalance area. Right, we're moving up into this overall daily imbalance that was right here. As you can see, the market's making those equal highs. We want to see it continue to go ahead and equal price out on the bigger time frame. Now, as I knock down to the 4-hour, right, we're just going to pretty much have that same level right there at 3,300. And what I really want to show you guys too quickly is even back on the 15-minute, right? And this is something that, is going to take a while. Price action actually stops right before we get to this area. But if you look inside of here, right, we can go ahead and knock down a smaller imbalance just on the 15. Take that 4-hour imbalance, bring it back here, and we see what really went on here, right? This quick sell or buy to sell. So what if I went ahead and just marked up that imbalance as well, right? Where are we sitting? Where's this buy to sell candles? Go ahead and mark one there. Go ahead and mark one there. I just marked the open of those last two candles, right? And this is just going to be a future point of reference for later on, right? Right there around 1332, 1336. So let me go back to the hour. Let's go into regular price action. So these are just targets that we could get to above that 3,300 level, right? So let's go ahead and watch price action this week. So we see that we obviously have imbalance of price all happening right here, right? So let's see if we can go ahead and get a replay into here, right? So we initially open up, we consolidate, Asian session consolidation, we push up during London, right? That's perfect. We're bullish on the pair. It didn't give us a buy position here, but let's go ahead and just map out our imbalance and wait for the market to come play back into it. As we can see, we had a key area of resistance here. We had our down candle before our up move. So we can go ahead and grab that parallel channel and drop it down here. Now, again, where are we really focusing on? We're focusing on either that down candle, that 50% area, to go ahead and get filled. We come up to 3,300. We reject for a little bit, right? We go ahead and create our equal highs that are going to push us above this price at some point later. But overall, the market's going to come back and reprice into this area. So what do we see? We see the market move down and trade right above the imbalance, right? Show some kind of reversal, but doesn't quite move away yet. And this is the cool thing, right? This is where we talk about inside of imbalances, inside of point of interests, right? We want to see reaccumulation or redistribution happen, right? I want this market to fall down, right? And when it gets to this imbalance, I want to see that reaccumulation and then the same thing happen again, right? So that's what we see, and that's what we're going to dive into smaller time frames here, right? So we get that last push down, and then we go ahead and start trading higher to the highs. So check this out. Not only on the hour chart did we have low to high retracement down after Asian session, right? This was another London down move. Pull out your fib, right? We see that we touched that 61%, but that's it right off the 50%, right? Right off the 50% of that imbalance. But that's not even the cool thing about this setup, right? As I go down to the 15-minute, this is what I want y'all to see, right? What did they do when they initially sold off here? They created that money high, money low. You see them push one candle above the highs. They drop down to the equal lows that we had right here. That's right above the imbalance, right? That's exactly what you want to look for. Let me go ahead and get our liquidity template. And then what happens after they make this full pool of liquidity? They're going to do that same smaller time frame reaccumulation, drive down, move up into the pool of money. So if you guys are noticing, right, we literally came right down into that 50% area that we were talking about here. But you could even keep on breaking this down, right, and really wait for those last set of down candles before the up move, right? Where's the actual low? Here's the actual low, right? What do they do next time they bring it to that low? They equal it out, and then what? We have that final drive down that trades into that 3280 area, right? A lot of people like their 80s and 20s. 3280, 3820, right? Kind of a quarters theory thing, but they like to do it 80-20 levels. So they push down in that area, and you guys can see, and we're going to see it on smaller time frames, how we literally got that clean test inside of our major imbalance, right? Bigger time frame bias is bullish. We see that smaller time frame reaccumulation drive down into price, and ultimately that rejection that's happening on in here, right? Check this out. I'm going to go ahead and delete the imbalance for you guys. Right? What do we get? Pool of money, drive down into price. It wasn't quite enough. I had to come through one more time. We see that evidence. That money comes and trades up into these highs, right? So when this retracement happens, right, we're retracing back into this 1 minute imbalance, getting those candles off of it, and then we ultimately trade above. So back on this retest, we play into this smaller imbalance, right? And the market continues to take off. So this is where I can throw stops up underneath this low. If I watch this low happen through 3280 and then we trade above, we can catch either of these retracements and you're going to be good to go, you know, pretty much on that end. So that's just like a smaller time frame, you know, reaccumulation that happened inside. We got gray in the cut. My cat here. So we trade inside of that imbalance, right? Let me go ahead and, that's not what I wanted to do. We'll just go ahead and delete these out. Right, so that's a possible play that you could have had at 7 a.m., right? A little earlier than that regular time that we'd be looking for indices, but overall, it played out. Now, let's go ahead, right? If you missed that buy entry, perfect, right? We understand that we're still bullish, and we understand that we're creating a new pool of money. So now that this imbalance has been filled off 3280, we're just going to look for our new imbalances. And what do you guys see happening right here? Right, we have a new imbalance this wick to this wick. What also entails here is that sell to buy structure. Where is the open of that candle? Pretty much at the 50% of the imbalance. So what happens? The market's going to equal out those highs, and we're going to pull down into that imbalance and play off the 50% of that candle. Now, on a smaller time frame, what's going on here? We see another smaller reaccumulation, right? Inside of imbalance areas, we want to see them make those equal lows. We want to see them swoop down and money get back behind the move, right? Inside of the imbalance area, right? So you guys just gotta, you want to keep on seeing this over and over and over again, right? And they're going to do it on the smaller time frames. 5 minute, right? Look at these equal lows, big drive down. We see that initial push off, and let's pop back a little bit. So we can go ahead and look at that next area. So this was a very clean play off that hour candle. Let's go ahead and play out a couple candles. We ultimately then go trade higher, right? Even fill in a little bit here before we take off. Now, we come up almost to those next areas of resistance, right? That overall bigger time frame imbalance. So I'm not sure if we're going to get this, right? Now we have pretty much this little imbalance to play here. Let's see what happens here. So ultimately, right, what's the market doing? Asian session consolidation. We're creating that money on top. We're creating that money on the bottom. And we're just going to wait for it to break out. Overall bullish, right? Thinking bullish, thinking bullish. We trade up into, and the price I was really looking at here was 33.33. We trade into 33.33, take the highs, trade back into it one more time. But overall, we are going to see rejection from that 33.33 area. What do? We trade down into these imbalances. This one also, that last down candle before the up move, and then we see that rejection back up, and then we ultimately see the market start trading through this area, right? So again, even on smaller time frames, you could be watching this, and what do we get? Highs, lows, fast run up, one last candle up, run down to equal out the lows. We come back and we fill this little bit of imbalance lying right here, right, which also plays off the open in 50% of the last up candle right here. We trade down into this imbalance, which again on a smaller time frame leaves equal lows and takes it again, right, re-accumulation inside of our major areas, right? What does the market do? Equal lows, trades below, trades back above, right? And on smaller time frame, we're going to see equal lows, one push down, trades back up to the open. We saw this retracement, we saw this retracement, and then she pretty much took off. Right, so multiple different areas of buy retracements that happened this week. And let's go ahead and see where we're at now. Right, so ultimately we are about 30 minutes away from NFP, but I hope this helps you guys a little bit, just understanding these imbalance tests, right? 50% of this imbalance, right? Came back 50%, open of this imbalance, right? Came back 50% of this imbalance, and you could have even been playing those higher time frame areas and taking sells off 3,300, right? 33.33, right? So a couple more examples with this. Let's look at GBP this week, right? So GBP had one of those other examples where we had a higher time frame imbalance over here at 31.77, 31.80. We fell off at that. A play last night that had happened that I had marked up from the previous 2 days is what? We had nice sell to buy moves. We left small imbalance right here with a pool of money right around 3,100. Market respected this area, traded back into 3,100, right? And as you can see, we had a 35 pip retracement, 30 pip retracement off of this 3,100 level. What happens in here is that they pull the market back into that imbalance area, create the equal lows, and give us that schematic, right? Check this out. So you wait to go ahead and reach that area around 3,100. You wait for them to go ahead and create that little trend line of lows. And then what do you see happen? You see one drive through it, no closes below it. You get the end of this bullish candle, go ahead and trade above a little bit of structure. And this is where you can go ahead and take any break of structure retests right in here. Did this imbalance get filled? No, sometimes it's not going to get filled. And it would have been nice if we would have came back here, because we would have dropped a stop loss up underneath this low. But overall, that wasn't the one that they needed. They waited for this one. 1 minute imbalance. Right? So that was something that was clean on GU going into this week. When it comes to NFP coming up in half an hour, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to premiere this video to drop a little later today. It seems like a lot of you guys are on during the day, so probably around the noon, 1 p.m. time, I'll have this go ahead and drop. When it comes to the dollar index, right, there's a couple key areas that we see here of imbalance that I've pointed out. We have this key area right here at 93.66, right? And then we have these two smaller ones, which we're about to trade into, right? And what do we see happen here on smaller time frames when it comes to the index? Equal lows, we trade down into the price of 92.55 to equal these out. We trade above, we retrace back down into the small imbalance in the open, and now we're going ahead and trading away, right? And you guys could even do this, right, on something like this, because it's the same principles. Pool of money, drive down, trade above, we come and get those retests, and look, we actually even dip down into this imbalance. Watch this be 50%. You know what I mean? So it's like, if you guys just wait for these, look at this, right to the T, 50% of the imbalance that was left right here on the DXY. You're not even taking trades on this a lot of the time, but the same things are happening, right? Same things are happening. Gold's not going to touch on for this video. So this is really our setup that we'd be looking for, right? Let me go ahead and delete this. We'll probably end up on this, right? Obviously been super bearish on the dollar other than the retracement that we've seen here, right? What are we coming up to play into? This 4-hour order block. On a smaller time frame, we can find areas of imbalance that we could play this 4-hour order block. So as we go down to the hour chart, what am I looking at? That last up push before price went ahead and sold down, right? What happens when price sold down and made lows? It traded back up at the highs. We retraced back into this small imbalance area. What did we do again? That smaller time frame, equal lows, run low, trade above, right? So now what we're looking for is a placement up in here, right? We can go ahead and grab a channel. We have this imbalance all right here, perfectly what we're doing right now, right? What we did through London is create those equal highs right here before our imbalance, right? So again, like that's one of our next confirmations, right, that we're going to be having in the markets, is that liquidity being made right before the imbalance into a point of interest candle. So overall, what I'm looking for is I would love to see that strong dollar go ahead and maybe push price up into this imbalance, ultimately hopefully not breaking this high right here, and might be able to take a trade on this if we get a fast push up. There's also the chance, right, that we come play back into this smaller imbalance here, that we could even play back up to the upside, plays out. What's up, family? It's about 10:05. We're about an hour and a half past NFP. I had to go ahead and make a little second half to this video because we were able to watch the markets play out through the NFP news. I want to go ahead and share that UCAD setup and share the dollar index setup and show you guys really what went on. And, you know, yes, still touching on the imbalance of price. That's exactly what happened this morning during NFP. So watch this, right? So we were looking for the bullishness on the dollar, which would have helped us see that bullishness on USD CAD, correct? So before we go play into this imbalance, what we do have to understand also is that not only did we have equal liquidity right here, but see this hour imbalance? I'm going to go ahead and mark up this hour imbalance for you guys, and we're going to see how the market went ahead and played this going into the hour. Right, so I'm going to go ahead and go into a smaller time frame. Right now I have the market reversed back to 745. So just watch, right? And we're actually going to watch this on the 5-minute chart. I want you guys to see how they move these markets. As you can see, let me actually pull back here. See this last down candle up move, imbalance, and then we go to the 5-minute. Right, we have this last series of down candles before an up move, smaller imbalance down in here. Right, so check this out. We're going to go candle by candle. What do they do? That's 820, 825. So news hits, and instead of the dollar going in the bullish bias, what do they do before they run that bullish biasness? They're going to go ahead and drop the market 15, 20, 25 pips to take out most retail buyers. All retail buyers are buying this off jump. That's why we weren't buying this off jump. We were looking for the sell up here. But since it gave the move to the downside, filled the imbalance, we could be looking at that 50%, right? And now, as we see price play out, you know, we ultimately traded a little bit lower into this deeper imbalance, but we are going to see that higher bias strong dollar ended up playing out. Now, again, how do you take, instead of entering at 33.33 and having a stop up underneath this low, right? How could you make this a little bit less risk for yourself than risking, you know, 15 pips or so, right? You knock down to the smaller time frames. Look what happened on a 1 minute time frame, right? We came down, we traded into the bottom of the imbalance. We had one down candle, little up move, little retest here, and we played off. So just showing you guys, right? Like, that's why you don't buy the dollar. You don't buy the dollar straight off the news. Wait for it to react, stop out most individuals right down here into that hour imbalance, right? Look at this. And let's go to the end of this candle. Wow. So I actually just replayed it all the way through. But look what we saw, right? Dip below the lows into the imbalance, reject off the next 45 minutes, came up and literally rejected where? Right off of our 50% area that we actually had a decent rejection off of as soon as we got there. So just understanding the importance of these levels, right? And then what did we just do? We just traded above the highs and saw that fast move down. And this was just so beautiful, right? You see the same manipulation that happened on the dollar, right? What did we get? We got that initial move down at 830, and now we're seeing the market trade back up into that higher imbalance. As you see, that's where we just got to there. GU, right? We're traced up back on 3100 whole level. We're tracing back down into this imbalance. So just really, I haven't even looked at golds, right? Buy to sell. But either way, I had to show UCAD, right? The initial sell setup didn't play out first, but that's why you go ahead and wait and understand your smaller time frames and your imbalances all together. And you can go ahead and take this trade setup, right? So everybody was able to pretty much take advantage of this right here, entering right around 33.30, having a stop right here at 33.18. And what were we targeting? These highs, right? That's a nice 3-to-1 ratio, risking 13 to make 40. And right now, I'm pretty much rating for the price of 3,400. And if we get up here and show some nice rejection, who knows? You know, maybe we can take this sell down as well. But either way, had to show you guys that. Very, very powerful when you're learning about imbalances. We're going to go ahead, and that is it for imbalance. I hope y'all have loved it. Next, we're going to be touching on liquidity, then some Fibonacci, and then some time sessions and everything. So much love. Go ahead, make sure you like and subscribe to this video, like and subscribe to this channel, and we'll see y'all at the beginning of next week.